I rise today in support of House Bill 4003 and Senate Bill 4, which amends the Elliot Larson Civil Rights Act to include the LGBTQ community. Our community has waited decades for wrongful discrimination against them to be changed in statute, and because of their tireless efforts, we will soon be turning a historic page, and that is cause for celebration. Celebration of the fact that Michiganders now will have the protections to be themselves fully and authentically. Celebration of the many people that have worked to get us to this point, the many activists, the plaintiffs in all the cases that have gotten here, the people who have introduced this legislation before me, people like Jim Dressel, who first introduced this legislation in 1983, people like the representative from the 17th District, former legislators like John Hoadley and Rebecca Warren, Frank Foster, Steve Bachman, Liz Brader, Chris Cove, legislators like Sam Singh, and of course, legislators like Jeremy Moss. It's time to celebrate that when we as a state are trying to attract talent here, they'll know that our state is more open and more welcoming and a more inclusive one. I've been thinking a lot about what the impact of this legislation is going to mean for so many people. I've been hearing so many stories along this journey from so many brave people. I think about people like Chanel, who I met a few weeks ago. She was invited to share her story at a roundtable discussion. She told us how she has buried so many friends that she's lost to violence and how she supports those who are survivors. They've been shut out of the economy due to the lack of protections and belong to a population so at risk, they sadly outpace the rest of the statistics for the LGBTQ community. Her friends and many others like them have nowhere left to turn and are vulnerable as a result. Chanel is a Black trans woman, and trans women of color are some of the most at risk in our nation. A little over 1 in every 4 Black trans persons is unemployed, a rate that is twice as high as the rest of the trans community. Around 41% of Black trans people are homeless, a rate that is 5 times higher than the rest of the population in the country. Violent crime against trans people rises steadily. In 2022, at least 38 trans people were murdered. 81% were people of color. 59% alone were Black. Without these protections, we've created an environment that helps contribute to the fact that Chanel and people like her are not safe. We have failed them. I'm grateful for the people who've told their stories and reported their cases. And today, I'm also thinking about the people who didn't, the people who've suffered in silence. I'm not sure how many people here in this chamber have faced discrimination or realize what discrimination does to a person. It robs you of your dignity. It makes you feel less than. When someone hates you because of your identity and nothing else, there is nothing that is more dehumanizing. Facing this kind of hatred and discrimination is hard to live with. It permeates your soul. It makes you feel like you're less worthy. The fear and the pain will try to find a home in your brain. And it's no wonder that 45% of LGBTQ youth in Michigan seriously consider suicide. It's no wonder that 15% of them actually attempted it. I am the first openly gay person of color to ever serve in the legislature. And I almost didn't run for office. I didn't think that you could be Black and openly gay and an elected official all at the same time. When you live in a world where discrimination is a persistent reality, it makes you feel like you aren't worthy to live your dreams. This legislation will show LGBTQ people, particularly LGBTQ people of color, that they can fulfill their full aspirations. Your identity won't limit who you are or what you can do. You don't have to hide anymore. You don't have to feel less than. And that is cause for celebration. I urge you to support House Bills 4003 and Senate Bill 4.